Welcome to Romance Beyond the Porch.
I should have turned around the second I saw her. That is what a normal employee would have done. Walk away, pretend they saw nothing, go back to their quiet life behind spreadsheets and emails. But I did not move. I stood there on that California beach, stuck between doing the smart thing and doing the thing I knew I would not regret, because my CEO was lying on a beach chair just a few steps away from me. Claire Townsend. The woman who built Townsend Enterprises from nothing into one of the most respected tech companies in Los Angeles. The woman people described as cold, sharp, and impossible to impress. And right now, she looked like someone completely different. She was stretched out under the sun, wearing a black bikini and oversized sunglasses, her skin already turning slightly pink from too much heat. The ocean rolled behind her, calm and endless, but she did not look calm at all, because next to her on a small table was a folder, and that folder was the real reason I could not walk away. The wind kept playing with the pages inside it. One sheet lifted slightly, then dropped back down. From where I stood, I could see numbers, rows and columns. Financial data, and I had spent the last 8 years of my life reading numbers. Numbers do not lie, but people do. And when you look at financial reports long enough, you learn how to tell the difference. I stepped closer without thinking. Another gust of wind came, stronger this time, and one page almost flew off the table. I moved quickly, catching it before it could escape. That was when she noticed me. She tilted her head slightly, lowering her sunglasses just enough to look over them. Her green eyes locked onto mine instantly, sharp, aware, like she missed nothing. "Enjoying the view?" she asked. Her voice was calm, controlled, the same tone she used in meetings, like every word had weight behind it. I should have said something safe. I should have apologized and handed the paper back and walked away. Instead, I looked straight at her and said, "You." For a second, nothing moved. Then the corner of her mouth shifted just slightly. Not a full smile, more like surprise she refused to admit. She sat up, reaching for the folder as the wind tried again to steal the papers. I helped gather them, pressing them back into place. And that was when I saw it. Line 6. Profit margin 42%. It looked perfect. Too perfect. My eyes moved down the page, and 2 lines later the operational cash flow told a completely different story. It did not match. It could not match. Someone had made the surface look clean while hiding something underneath. Line 6, I said, holding the paper steady. Your profit margin doesn't match your cash flow. She froze, not visibly, not in a way most people would notice, but I saw it. Someone is hiding a problem in your depreciation schedule, I added. These numbers don't belong together. Her entire posture changed. The relaxed woman on the beach disappeared. In her place stood the CEO again, even though she was still sitting in a beach chair. "Who are you?" she asked. "Derek Walsh," I said, "Senior Analyst, Finance Division." She studied my face carefully, like she was searching her memory for me. She probably did not find anything. People like me do not stand out in companies like hers, but numbers do, and I knew she could tell I understood them. "You saw that in seconds," she said. "I have been fixing problems like this for 8 years, I replied. "This one is simple. Whoever made this report used the wrong amortization method. Your assets are hiding missing cash." She stood up quickly and grabbed a thin white cover-up, wrapping it around herself. But her eyes never left me. "Do you know why I am here?" she asked. "Trying to get away from work," I said. "My CFO quit yesterday," she said. There was no emotion in her voice, but I could hear the pressure underneath. "A board member named Trevor Harding is pushing for an emergency audit," she continued. "He says I mismanaged a major investment. If he proves it, I lose control of my company." The folder in her hand shook slightly, not from fear, from anger. "You brought work to the beach," I said. "I needed space to think," she replied. "And apparently I needed someone who could actually see the problem." She pulled out her phone and looked at me again. "How fast can you start?" I glanced at the papers, then back at her. "Right now." She nodded once. "My rental house is up the path, 2 minutes." We walked in silence. She carried her shoes in one hand and the folder in the other. The ocean stayed behind us as we climbed toward a house sitting on a cliff. It was the kind of place people rented when they needed to disappear. Inside, the cold air hit instantly. The dining table was covered in more papers, reports, emails, documents that had clearly been read over and over again. Claire dropped everything onto the table. "Trevor is forcing a board vote in 48 hours, she said. "If I cannot prove him wrong, I am out." I started sorting the papers. "Tell me about the investment," I said. "When did it happen?" "6 months ago, 15 million. We bought a smaller company." "And now he says the money is gone." "He says I either lost it or moved it," she replied. "That I am incompetent or worse." I found 2 stacks that mattered and placed them side by side. "This is your acquisition funding," I said, "and this is your operational expenses." I pointed at a line. "See this vendor payment." She stepped closer. "Which one?" "This one," I said. "It is labeled as a normal expense, but the vendor matches a holding company connected to your investment." Her eyes widened slightly. "That means—" "Someone moved money," I said, "made it look normal when it was not." She did not speak for a moment. Then I noticed her hand. It was shaking, small but clear. "When did you last eat?" I asked. She blinked. "What?" "Food," I said. "When?" "I don't know," she admitted. "Yesterday, maybe." "You need to eat," I said. "You cannot think clearly like this." She stared at me like she was not used to being told what to do. "Are you giving me orders?" she asked. "I am keeping the most important asset working," I said, "and that is you." For a second she just looked at me. Then slowly she smiled. "Sushi," she said, picking up her phone. While she ordered, I kept working. The problems started stacking up, one after another, small mistakes that looked harmless alone but dangerous together. By the time the food arrived, I had a list. By the time we finished eating, I had a theory. And by the time the clock passed 2 in the morning, I had something more. A pattern. One vendor code kept appearing again and again. Hidden across different reports, every payment led to the same place, a shell company. And that shell company led to one name, Trevor Harding. Claire sat across from me, her hair loose now, her focus sharp again. "Can you prove it?" she asked. "Not yet," I said. "I need access to the full system." She did not hesitate. She opened her laptop and started typing. "I am giving you access," she said. "Everything you do will be tracked." She signed a document and slid it toward me. "I am not here to cause trouble," I said quietly. She looked up at me. "That is not what worries me," she said. "Then what does?" She held my gaze, "Being alone when he makes his move." I did not look away. "You won't be," I said, and in that moment something shifted between us. Not big, not obvious, but real, and I knew this was only the beginning. 3 days later, we were back in Los Angeles. The Townsend Enterprises building rose high into the sky, all glass and steel, the kind of place that made people feel small before they even walked inside. I had been there for years, but walking in next to Claire felt different this time. She moved through the lobby like she owned everything around her, which she did. People stopped what they were doing when they saw her. Some nodded, some looked away, some whispered quietly to each other. I followed a few steps behind, wearing a temporary badge that marked me as a contractor. But I was not just a contractor anymore. I was part of something bigger now. Claire did not slow down as we entered the elevator. The doors closed, and for a moment it was just the 2 of us. "You ready for this?" she asked. "Yes," I said. She looked at me, studying my face like she was measuring something. "Good," she said softly, "because it is about to get ugly." The executive floor was quieter than usual, too quiet, the kind of silence that meant something was already wrong. Claire walked straight to her office and I followed. The moment we stepped inside, her assistant stood up quickly. "They are already asking questions," she said. "The board wants updates every hour." Claire nodded once. "Tell them they will get answers when I have facts," she said. Then she turned to me. "Let's get to work." The next few hours passed fast. Too fast. I sat at a desk in a small office next to hers, going through transaction logs, cross-checking data, following every trail that looked even slightly off. And every trail led back to the same place, Trevor Harding, but I needed more than suspicion. I needed proof that could not be ignored. Around noon, my door opened without a knock. Trevor walked in like he owned the building. Tall, confident, dressed perfectly. The kind of man who knew exactly how much power he had and enjoyed it. He dropped a thick manual onto my desk. It landed with a heavy sound. "Mr. Walsh," he said, smiling in a way that did not reach his eyes. "We have very strict rules about contractors accessing sensitive information." I did not look at the manual. "Section 7, I said, his smile shifted slightly. "You have read it." "Every word," I replied, "especially the part about board members disclosing conflicts of interest." For a second the air in the room changed. His eyes sharpened. "You should be careful," he said. "Claire tends to make emotional decisions. When she falls, you do not want to be standing next to her." I leaned back slightly in my chair, calm. "I'm exactly where I need to be," I said. We held eye contact for a few seconds. Then he turned and walked out, but I could tell one thing clearly. He was not worried yet, which meant I needed to move faster. The next 2 weeks blurred together. Long days turned into longer nights. Files, reports, calls with legal teams. Questions that sounded simple but were designed to trap you if you answered wrong. Claire handled the outside pressure. I handled everything behind the scenes. I stayed close to her office most of the time. Close enough to notice things others would miss. Like the way her hands would shake slightly after too much coffee, or how she would forget to eat when things got intense. One afternoon I saw her sitting through a long investor call. Her posture was perfect, her voice steady, but I could see the tension building. When the call paused for a moment, I walked in. I placed a fresh cup of coffee on her desk, a bottle of water next to it, and some pain relief tablets. I did not say anything. I just swapped the cold coffee with the hot one and left. From the corner of my eye, I saw her shoulders relax slightly. Later that evening, she came to my office. "I did not ask for that," she said. "You needed it," I replied. She looked at me for a long second, then she nodded. "Thank you." That was the first time she said it, and it meant more than anything else she could have said. A week later, she showed up again. But this time, she looked different. She was wearing a dark red dress, heels that made her even taller, her hair styled perfectly. "I need you tonight," she said. I already knew why. "The gala," I said. She nodded. "Trevor will be there. He will try something." "And you want me there to stop him," I said. "I want you there because you see things others do not," she replied. That answer stayed with me. The gala was at a museum downtown. Expensive lights, polished floors, people dressed like they belonged on magazine covers. Everyone pretending to be relaxed while watching everything. Claire and I arrived together. People noticed. Of course they did. She introduced me as a strategic consultant. Nobody asked questions, but I could see the curiosity in their eyes. We moved through the room slowly. Then I felt it, that shift in the air. Trevor. He appeared like he had been waiting for the right moment. "Claire," he said smoothly, "we should talk." "Not here," she replied. He ignored her and looked at me, still playing bodyguard. He asked. I stepped slightly forward, not aggressive, just enough. "Pick one," I said. "Either I matter or I don't." His smile faded just a little. Before he could respond, a cold breeze came through the open doors. Claire shivered slightly. Without thinking, I took off my jacket and placed it around her shoulders. She pulled it close. "It smells like you," she said quietly. I did not respond. But something in her voice felt different, real. A photographer rushed toward us suddenly, flashing cameras, asking questions. I stepped in front of her. "Move," I said calmly. They hesitated, then they moved. Claire let out a quiet breath. "Thank you," she said. "Walls do not ask permission," I replied. We moved toward a quieter hallway. That was when Trevor found us again. He stepped out from a side door, like he knew exactly where we would go. "Resign tonight," he said to Claire quietly. "Save yourself the embarrassment." I stepped between them. "Careful," I said. "There are cameras." His eyes flicked upward. He had not noticed. Claire moved closer to me, a clear choice. Trevor leaned in slightly. "You are bluffing," he said. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen. "Timestamp started," I said. Claire's voice turned cold. "Move." For a moment I thought he would push further, but he did not. He stepped back. "Enjoy your mistake," he said before walking away. When he was gone, Claire looked at me. "You saw the cameras." "Yes," I said, "3 of them." She studied me like she was seeing me in a new way. That night back at the office, the city lights stretched out below us. Claire sat on the floor, her shoes off, leaning against the couch. She looked tired, not weak, just human. I placed a bag of takeout on her desk. "Eat," I said. She laughed softly. "I never eat on my office floor," she said. "There is a first time for everything," I replied. She opened the food and took a bite. Her expression changed immediately. "This is actually good," she said. I handed her a napkin. "You treat everything like it matters," she said. "Because it does," I replied. She looked at me for a long moment, not as my boss, just as Claire. Something was changing, I could feel it. And I knew she could too, but neither of us said it. Not yet, because we both knew something bigger was coming. And whatever this was between us, it was going to be tested. The storm hit on a Tuesday morning. I knew something was wrong before I even reached my desk. My phone would not stop buzzing. Messages, emails, missed calls. People I barely talked to were suddenly sending me links, headlines, screenshots. Every single one of them had Claire's name on it. I opened the first link. My chest tightened. Documents filled the screen. Official-looking reports. Employee complaints, claims of harassment inside the company. Accusations that Claire ignored everything, that she protected the wrong people, that she chose profit over people. It did not make sense. Not with what I had seen, not with who she really was. My office phone rang. I picked it up immediately. "She needs you," her assistant said. Her voice was tight with panic. "Right now." I was already moving. Claire's office felt different when I walked in, smaller, like the walls had closed in. She stood near the window, her back to me, staring out at the city. Her tablet sat on the desk, one of the documents glowing on the screen. "I never saw these," she said quietly. I did not answer right away. "I never ignored anything," she continued. "I never protected anyone who hurt my employees." Her voice did not break, but it came close. I walked to the desk and picked up the tablet. The documents looked real, too real, but something felt off. "Send me the original files," I said. She turned then, her eyes red but dry. "What is the point?" she asked. "The damage is already done." "Just send them," I said. She held my gaze for a second, then she nodded. 3 minutes later, the files were on my laptop. I opened the first one. I did not read the words. I read the data behind them. Every digital file carries a history, details most people never check, information that cannot lie. The document claimed it was from 2 years ago, but the software used to create it. It did not exist back then. I leaned forward. Opened the Properties panel, checked the metadata. There it was, created 2 weeks ago. "Claire," I said. She stepped closer. "What?" "These are fake." She froze. "What do you mean?" "They were made recently," I said. "Someone changed the visible dates to make them look old, but the hidden data tells the truth." She moved closer to the screen. "Can you prove it?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "This is not something they can explain away." I opened the next file, same thing, then another, all of them. Every single document was created in the last 2 weeks, not 2 years ago. "Someone planned this," she said slowly. I nodded. "And they had access," I added. "Company templates, employee names, internal formatting." I pulled up the upload logs. Every file that enters or leaves a system leaves a trail. Time, location, user. The files were uploaded at 3:42 in the morning from inside the company network, using an executive administrative account. I read the name out loud. Harding Exec. Claire's face went pale. "His assistant," she whispered. "Either she did it," I said, "or someone used her login." Either way, it pointed to one place. Trevor. I kept digging, and then I found something worse. A hidden folder, deleted but not gone completely. I recovered it piece by piece. Inside were photos, Claire from a distance, through windows, in parking garages, at restaurants. Moments she never knew someone was watching. Dates going back 2 years. I stopped moving. "Claire," I said quietly. She looked at me. "He has been watching you." What? She covered her mouth with her hand. "How many?" 37. The room went silent. The air felt heavier. I saved everything, every file, every image, every detail, 3 backups, no mistakes, no missing pieces. By morning I had everything, proof, not just of fraud but of obsession. Claire was asleep on the couch when I finished, still in her clothes from the day before, my jacket covering her. I placed the folder on the table. The sound woke her instantly. No slow reaction, just awareness. I got him, I said. She sat up quickly. How? I handed her the reports. She read them carefully. Then she saw the account name. Her fingers tightened on the paper. And the photos? She asked. I slid them across. She looked through them slowly. Her expression did not change much. But I saw it in her eyes, anger deep and controlled. 2 years, she said quietly. Yes. She took a breath, then looked at me. Then we end this today. The board meeting felt like a courtroom. 12 people sat around a long table, expensive suits, careful expressions. Claire sat at one end, Trevor at the other. He looked calm, confident, like he had already won. This situation is unfortunate, he was saying, but we must act in the company's best interest. Claire did not interrupt him. She let him talk. Leadership requires trust, he continued, and right now that trust is broken. I stood near the wall, waiting, watching, then Claire spoke. I have not resigned, she said, and I will not. Trevor sighed like he was disappointed. Fighting this will only make things worse, he said. That was my moment. I stepped forward. The documents should be examined, I said. The room went quiet. Trevor turned sharply. Who allowed him to speak? He asked. No one answered. I walked to the table and placed the folder down. The documents are fake, I said clearly. Murmurs spread across the room. I opened the folder, showed them everything. The metadata proves they were created 2 weeks ago, I continued. Not 2 years ago. The dates were changed, but the system records cannot be altered. I placed more evidence on the table. They were uploaded from inside the company using an executive account linked to Trevor Harding's office. Silence heavy, unavoidable. Trevor's expression stayed calm, but his jaw tightened. This is ridiculous, he said. I placed one more set of papers down. There is more, I said. I showed them the photos. A board member gasped. Another leaned back in shock. Unauthorized surveillance, I said, stored with the fake documents. The room turned, not toward Claire, toward Trevor. Claire stood slowly. You're fired, she said. No hesitation, no doubt. Effective immediately. Trevor opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Security appeared at the door. He looked around the table, looking for support. He found none. One by one, people looked away. He was done. He walked out without another word. The door closed behind him, and just like that, everything changed. A board member spoke first. I support Claire remaining CEO. Another voice followed. Agreed. One by one, every hand went up. The same people who doubted her now stood behind her because proof is stronger than fear. By evening, the office was quiet again. The storm had passed, for now. I packed my things slowly, placed my temporary badge on the desk. My job was done. Claire appeared in the doorway. Where are you going? She asked. Back to normal, I said. She stepped closer. And that is it. That is how this works, I replied. I fix the problem, then I leave. She stopped right in front of me, closer than before. What if I don't want that? She asked. I looked at her. Claire. I don't want you as an employee, she said softly. I have plenty of those. Her hand reached up, rested against my collar, not pulling, just there, clear, intentional. Tell me to stop, I said. My voice was lower now. Don't, she whispered. And then she kissed me, not careful, not unsure, a decision. Everything we had been holding back finally broke through in that moment. Her hands moved to my face. Mine went around her waist, then loosened, letting her choose everything. When we pulled apart, her forehead rested against mine. Stay, she said, and I knew I would. 2 days later, Claire stood in front of cameras. The lobby of Townsend Enterprises was packed before sunrise. Reporters filled every corner. Lights were set up, microphones ready, people waiting for answers. I stood just behind the stage area watching her. She looked exactly like she always did in public. Perfect. Charcoal suit, hair pulled back, calm expression. But I knew what most people did not. I knew how much pressure she had carried. I knew how close she came to losing everything, and I knew she was not alone anymore. She glanced at me for a second. Ready? I asked quietly. She looked straight into my eyes. Always, she said. Then she reached up and adjusted my tie, the same way I had taken care of her without asking. Simple, natural, something that belonged to both of us now. We walked out together. Cameras flashed instantly. Questions started before we even reached the podium. Claire stepped forward, owning the space like she always did. The internal investigation is complete, she said. Her voice was clear, strong. Corruption within our board has been identified and removed. Townsend Enterprises is moving forward with stronger leadership and full transparency. Questions were shouted from every direction. One reporter pushed forward. Miss Townsend, sources say someone inside the company helped you uncover the truth. Will he remain in his position? Claire paused, then she turned slightly, looked at me, and something in her expression changed. Not CEO, just Claire. Mr. Walsh has transferred to our Strategic Operations Division, she said. Then she added something I did not expect. He will also be attending next month's annual gala with me. She reached out her hand. Not as a colleague, she said softly, as my partner. For a moment the room went silent. Then the cameras flashed even faster. I walked to her side, took her hand. It felt warm, steady. Real, I leaned slightly closer to her, still giving orders. I whispered, her fingers tightened around mine. Only the important ones, she replied. And just like that, everything was out in the open. No hiding, no pretending, just truth. That night we went back to the same beach where everything started. The same place where I first saw her. But everything felt different now. We sat on the deck of the beach house, watching the sun slowly disappear into the ocean. Claire was wearing jeans and a soft sweater. No heels, no sharp edges, just her. I keep thinking about that day, she said. The beach. She nodded. You saw something no one else did, she continued. Everyone else saw numbers, you saw the truth. I leaned back slightly. People don't always want to see what's right in front of them, I said, especially when it's uncomfortable. She looked at me, and you. I've spent years fixing problems, I said. You learn to look closer. She smiled slightly. You don't just fix things, she said. You make them right. I thought about that for a second. Yeah, I said, there's a difference. The ocean moved quietly below us. The air felt calm, peaceful, something we had not had in weeks. What happens now? I asked. She turned toward me fully. Now, she said, now I stop doing everything alone. Her hand found mine. I spent years thinking I had to handle everything myself, she continued. That asking for help meant weakness. She shook her head. I was wrong. I squeezed her hand gently. You're not weak, I said. You just didn't have the right person next to you. She looked at me with those same sharp green eyes, but softer now. And now I do, she said. We sat in silence for a moment, not awkward, just comfortable, real. I have plans, she said after a while. That sounds dangerous, I said. She laughed softly. First, I'm taking a week off, she said. No work, no calls, just quiet. Good, I said. Second, I'm restructuring the board, she continued. No more hidden power, no more blind trust. Better, I said. And third, she said, turning closer to me, I'm taking you out to a real dinner, somewhere nice. I smiled. I'd like that. She studied my face for a moment. And fourth, she said quietly, I'm done pretending I don't need anyone. Her voice softened. I want you beside me, not behind me, not working for me, with me. I did not overthink it. I did not try to say something perfect. I want that too, I said. She leaned in. This kiss was different, slower, softer, certain. When she rested her head on my shoulder, I knew this was real, not temporary, not complicated, just real. 3 months later, we returned to the same museum, the annual gala, same place. Different story. Claire walked in beside me, wearing a deep blue dress that made her impossible to ignore. But this time, she was not alone. And neither was I. People noticed. Of course they did. Some whispered, some smiled, some pretended not to look. But Claire did not care, not anymore. She introduced me simply. My partner. Not employee, not consultant. Partner. We danced badly. I stepped on her foot more than once. She laughed every time, not the polite laugh she used in meetings, a real one, the kind that made everything else disappear. Later, we stepped out onto the balcony. The city lights stretched out in every direction. It looked endless. Do you ever think about how close everything came to falling apart? I asked. She looked at the view, then at me. I think about how it didn't, she said. I smiled slightly. That too. She stepped closer. I don't think it was luck, she said. What do you think it was? I think you were meant to walk onto that beach, she said, and say the wrong thing. I teased. You said the right thing, she replied. Her hand found mine again. I think we were meant to meet. I looked at her. Maybe she was right, maybe it was timing, maybe it was chance, or maybe it was just two people paying attention at the right moment. I believe in us, I said. She smiled. So do I. We stood there together looking out at the city, not worrying about what could go wrong, not thinking about what almost happened, just knowing one thing for sure. Some moments change everything. And sometimes all it takes is one step closer instead of turning away.